Lifting weights is the main way that you're going to improve your metabolism and therefore burn more fat. But I hear many women tell me they're not getting results. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to lift weights to get the best bang for your buck. Hello fam, and welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa Neal, and this channel is all about helping you, if you're a woman over 40 or like me over 50, get in amazing shape. And I absolutely would love every woman over 40 to take up strength training, because it is a game changer when it comes to fat loss. But you need to be doing strength training right. So you need to be doing the kind of strength training that's going to help your body burn fat more easily and actually turn into a fat burning machine. So I'm going to be taking you through a step-by-step comprehensive guide in this video. So the first thing you want to be thinking about is where you're going to be working out, and you can work out at home or at the gym. There are pros and cons for each option. When I take you through the actual exercises, they can apply to doing them at home or at the gym. It doesn't really matter. The main thing is you've got to pick the one that's going to work for you. So if you're one of those women that feels uncomfortable stepping inside the gym, you absolutely can do this at home. Now, if you've been working out at home for a long time, you would then need to improve your range of equipment. But to start off with, you're going to need a couple of sets of dumbbells, maybe 1 or 2 sets of dumbbells. And I know some of you asked me, well, how heavy? And it's really hard to say because everyone's different, but you probably want a set of 10 kilo dumbbells, which is around about 20 pounds, and then you probably want a set of 5 kilo dumbbells, which is kind of around about over 10 pounds, more like 11 pounds. Then I really love to have some sort of resistance band. You can buy ones with a handle. This is a little bit more versatile because it hasn't got a handle. I also love glute bands because that kind of gives you a lot more options, and you can use these bands, you can use glute bands as a way of actually really getting extra resistance when you need it. How often do you need to be working out? Well, to see results, you really need to be working 3 or 4 times a week. You can work out 5 times a week. I actually used to work out 5 times a week, and I pulled it back to 4 times a week. The reason being is when your muscle grows, which is what you want, because growing your muscle is actually going to enable your body to burn more fat, and you actually grow muscle when you're resting, not when you're working out. So if you're working out too often, it can actually be counterproductive. So I wouldn't do strength training for more than 5 times a week for that reason, because your body needs to rest to see results. Now, how long? Well, it depends on your level of experience. Somebody that's early to this can probably do about 30 minutes, and then you're probably going to need to increase the number of reps and number of sets. So it's going to take you longer to get through the workout. So when you're a bit more experienced, I think you kind of need to have 40 minutes plus. Any more than an hour and a half and you're actually overtraining, and you shouldn't really be in the gym for more than an hour and a half. If you would love a program where you've got all of this covered, I have my own iPhone and Android app. It's called Body by Bikini. You can download it today and actually claim your free 7-day program, and it's yours for lifetime. You don't have to subscribe to anything. You will never be charged just by signing up for that free 7-day program. Now let's talk about these key lifts, because how you lift is going to make a massive difference to how much success you see, how much muscle building you see. And building muscle is the thing that's going to help your body burn more fat. So it's really important that you do build muscle. Now, before I talk about the key lifts, you want to make sure that you're actually lifting weights as the first thing you do when you step inside the gym or your home gym. So you don't want to be doing cardio, for example, before weights, unless it's just warming up. Warming up for 5 or 10 minutes is always a good idea, but then you need to stop cardio. Cardio should always go post-strength training because you want all of your energy for the maximum lifting, the maximum strength that you can possibly muster up. And if you've done 45 minutes of cardio beforehand, you're not going to be able to do that. You want to be doing what's called compound lifts, and they're lifts that use multiple muscle groups. So they could be lifts, they could be body weight exercises, and I'm going to talk about those key lifts and body weight exercises in detail. What you don't want to have is the main part of your workout or most of your workout made up of isolated movements. So those are things like bicep curls, tricep extensions, lateral raises, because what they do is they work smaller muscle groups, and you are going to have some of those in your workout, but they're usually only one exercise because your workout should be made up of compound movements, and I'm going to talk about which lifts to do now. These lifts are in no particular order. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the squat. The squat is absolutely amazing, and unless you have an injury or kind of, really bad knees, although you can do them if you've got bad knees, but if they're very extreme bad knees, you should be able to do a squat. Now, if you can't squat for any reason, a good alternative is the leg press. So do the leg press. It's kind of the same movement pattern, but if you can do a squat, do a squat. Now, a squat can be performed in so many ways, and I'm not going to talk about every single way, but just some of the key ways. So it can be performed with a barbell, and a standard squat would be like this, with your feet hip width apart, and you're going to go as low to the ground as possible. Now, you can also do that with a kettlebell, one kettlebell in between your legs, or a couple of dumbbells. So there are a few different ways of performing that. There are actually lots of different ways of having your foot positioning. So if you have your foot positioning wide, that's actually a sumo squat, and that's going to be more glute focused. If you really struggle with a squat, you can do something, and I'm going to show it here, called a box squat. And you can do that if you're at home on a chair, or you can use a bench or an actual box in the gym. And what that does is it just supports you when you're descending down the movement, so you're not going to go as low to the ground. And what you will find with the box squat is it actually is more glute focused. The next thing that is a key lift that you want to be incorporating, because again it works multiple muscle groups, so the squat does as well. It not only works your lower body, but it actually works your upper body while you're working your lower body, and so does any type of hinging movement. So the classic one is either the deadlift, the RDL, the Romanian deadlift. You can also do something called good mornings or stiff leg deadlifts, where your legs are completely straight. So there are a lot of options, but what you've got to watch out for with a deadlift is your form needs to be really good, because if you're not performing it correctly, you can actually damage your back, you can hurt your back, you can injure your back. So it's really important to make sure the form is good before you start going heavier and heavier and heavier. And actually, even though I'm really experienced, if I haven't done a deadlift in a while, what I will do when I return to it, I actually focus on just using an empty bar and doing that before I move on to sort of getting heavy. Now, you can do from home things like a Romanian deadlift. So remaining deadlift can be done with dumbbells. You don't need to use a barbell. You can actually also do a kettlebell deadlift. So there are a number of different options if you're working out at home for that. The next movement I'm going to talk about, and these are all compound movements, and this one is fantastic for working your whole body, and that is a lunging type of movement. Now, this isn't for everybody, and in my programs I actually give modifications for people who can't lunge, because I am aware if you can't lunge you do need to have some sort of alternative. I've made a video all about bad knees, and I've provided you with some modifications and alternatives for bad knees. But if you can lunge at all, you can actually do it without weight. If that's possible for you, I would encourage you to do it, because it's going to really be great for strengthening your knees. And Ken had really bad knees when he started on his fitness journey, and they've improved incredibly. What he's done is he's strengthened the area, the muscles around his knees, and so that's really given him much better knee mobility. So one of those is actually trying, if you can, to do lunges without weight, or using something like a resistance band for support. And as well as lunging movements, what's really great is carry movements. And if you can lunge, you can actually put the two things together and do walking lunges. They are amazing. But there are other types of carry movements. So you can just do something like a farmer's walk, where you have 2 weights, 2 dumbbells, 2 kettlebells, and you just walk along with those. They are fantastic for improving your strength. I believe every menopausal woman should be working towards doing body weight exercises. Even if you can't do them now, it's something that you can progress towards. One of the key body weight exercises, which I think really kind of demonstrates people's fitness, is the humble push-up. And you can do push-ups on your knees. You don't have to do a full push-up, but you should be working towards doing a full push-up, because a push-up, not only does it work your chest, people believe that it's just actually working your chest. It's actually working your core, it's working your back, it's working multiple muscle groups, so it's going to give you the maximum fat burning. And then of course there's the pull-up, which many women fear, and to a certain extent it depends how heavy you are as to whether you're going to be able to achieve a full pull-up. But you can use a pull-up machine in the gym, or you can use a resistance band to actually support your body weight, and I'm going to show it here. So that means that everybody, and I used to see people do this at CrossFit, and believe you me, women of all shapes and sizes were able to do the pull-up with the resistance band. If you can progress towards doing a dip, that is amazing. Now, there are several different ways you can do a dip. One of them is on a bench, and that is going to be incredible. So although it's actually working your triceps, it's actually working your chest, your back, and your core as well. So it's a really fantastic exercise. And when you progress on that, you could actually use parallel bars, but if you're not confident to use parallel bars, you can actually use a resistance band to help you on that, and you can use a machine in the gym. There are several ways of achieving a full dip for everybody. The next key lift that I absolutely love, and it goes hand in hand really with a push-up, it's a similar kind of exercise, and that's the bench press. And you can do a bench press with a barbell at the gym, or you can do it at home with dumbbells if you've got a bench. Now this is where it comes in. If you've got an at-home gym and you've got minimal amount of equipment and you've been sort of working out at home for a while, it's good to invest in more equipment like a bench, which you can actually put on an incline as well. But if you haven't got that, you can do it from the floor. The bench press, it's a good all-round exercise for your upper body, and it's gonna really improve improve the strength, not only in your chest, but in your shoulders and also in your back. Next, I'm going to talk about the overhead press. So there are several ways of doing this. It's great to do it with dumbbells because you're going to get an even press on either side. So if you've got one side that's stronger than the other, doing this with dumbbells will really ensure that you're working both shoulders together at exactly the same level, at the same weight. You can use a machine in the gym and you can use a barbell for this. There are so many options, but I absolutely love an overhead press. But of course, if you've got some sort of shoulder issue, which many women at this stage in life have, then you may need to stay off it, because lifting like that can be problematic if you've got a rotator cuff issue. Any type of row movement is absolutely amazing. So I've actually already mentioned one of them, which is a pull-up, because essentially that's a row movement, but you can also do it with a lateral pull down. You can do lateral pull downs at home with a resistance band, as long as you've got something to anchor it to. So it could be like hook on a doorway, ceiling that's really stable, that's going to be able to take most of your body weight. You can also do rows with dumbbells, either 2 dumbbells together or 1 dumbbell at a time with your hand on a bench. So it's really good to get in some type of rowing movement. Let's talk about progression and intensity, because those really 2 important words. You need to be progressing. So if you're going into your home gym or the gym and you're lifting the same weight and you're doing, say, 3 sets of 10 each time, that's not going to get you the results. What will get you the results is sticking to those same key lifts that I've talked about, but progressing. So that's going to be lifting heavier, making the workout more intense in some way, adding an extra rep in, slowing the movement down, or it could be taking less rest between sets. All of those things are going to make the level of intensity harder. I would recommend that you use a training log. You're logging how heavy you're lifting, how many reps you're doing, and how many sets you're doing. And what you need to do is get 1% better every time you do a workout. Now, that doesn't mean 1% better on every single lift, but on one of those lifts, you should be getting 1% better, because that's when you see results. So a coach told me very long time ago, and this has always stuck out in my mind, be the hardest working person in the gym. So the people that you see, if they're scrolling on their phone and they're distracted, they're talking, their level of intensity is just not enough. If it feels easy, it's not doing anything, and that's why you're not seeing results. And keep in mind, Rome was not built in a day. It's gonna take time to build muscle. It's not instant gratification when you're talking about getting results with strength training, which is the best way for menopausal women to transform their body. It absolutely is. There's loads of evidence to say that it's actually gonna give you so many other health benefits, but you need to take your time with it. What you've got to remember is I've been doing this for 6 years. It's actually been longer than that now. It's about 6.5 years solidly. I haven't stopped during that time, apart from a week here and a week there. What I would say to you is you're going to have to stick at this for 90 days. 90 days and you will see the start of transformation. And if you can take months and even years to do this, that's when you're going to notice an incredible improvement, and you will see that your body transforms, but it actually stays like that. And it's not like any other way of losing weight where you transform your body and then what's going to happen is you're going to go back to the way that you looked before. As you can see from my pictures, I've transformed my body and I've stayed like that, and that's the beauty of incorporating a strength training routine. Now, it's really important to say that you do need to combine it with good nutrition. I've linked a video here that tells you all about nutrition and getting your nutrition right to get the max maximum results for strength training.